This new Nintendo Switch eShop sale is massive, and today I've got 15 incredible deals for you all covering the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. Now on top of that then, we're giving away two $10 eShop gift cards. Just drop a comment down below to enter, and the winners from last Saturday's video, they're going to be announced later in this one, so do stick around for that. Now, do us a favour, hit subscribe, it helps out the channel a ton, and let's get into it. NieR Automata is our first game of the week and it's 50% off, matching the lowest price. This is a masterpiece, plain and simple, and the fact it runs this well on the Switch, it's just mind-blowing to me. Now if you haven't played it, I do urge you to give it a shot. It's an action RPG, but what makes it special is how it constantly surprises you. One moment you're in a traditional hack and slash battle, the next you're in a bullet hell sequence, then it shifts to top-down combat or maybe a side-scrolling section. Just an incredible experience. Now the less you do know going in, the better. But one thing to note, the first time you see the credits rolled, you are far from done. Now story-wise, it tells a really deep story about war and identity, and multiple playthroughs reveal new perspectives and twists. The combat then is great fun, blending melee and ranged attacks, and yet you'll be taking on hordes of machine life forms in what is this incredibly desolate open world. The Switch version then also includes all DLC, making this the definitive way to experience it on the go. The Falconeer Warrior Edition is 80% off a new low price, and I love this game. Now you can check out my full coverage in the pinned comment below, but overall I gotta say it runs incredibly well on the Switch. It features a unique world packed with just history, and the aerial combat feels fantastic. And what really sets it apart then visually is the fact that it uses no textures. It gives it almost this cel-shaded style. There was also then a city building sequel, and I'm hoping we'll see that make its way to the Switch 2 in the future. Now in the Falconeer, you take on the role of an airborne warrior soaring across a vast oceanic world torn apart by war and shifting allegiances. Throughout multiple campaigns, you'll experience different perspectives, unraveling the mystery of the Earthsea and its people. Combat is intense with this one. Think fast-paced dogfights against rival factions, pirates, even massive kraken that are lurking in the depths. Then this edition includes all updates and two expansions. The Hunter, which adds a new class and a flayable dragon, and then Edge of the World, which brings new side quests and boss fights. If you're after something unique, this one is a must-play. Project Warlock is 80% off a new low price in the UK, EU and Australia. It matches in the US and Canada. And if you're after a boomer shooter influenced experience, easily one of the best on the system. It's just packed with a massive arsenal of weapons, hordes of enemies, great level of variety, and even modern touches like upgrade points, which I really appreciated. Now you play as a mysterious Warlock on a mission to eradicate all evil, blasting through 60 levels spanning different eras and settings. One moment you're battling through medieval castles, the next you're gunning down enemies in a frozen Antarctic base or the sands of Egypt. The combat, fast and brutal, incredibly satisfying of course, with over-the-top gore and just some massive boss encounters. The variety of weapons as well, standard firearms through to magical abilities, all of which can be upgraded, keep you really kind of locked in. So yeah, look, if you like classic Doom style shooters but want something with a bit more, I guess, almost progression, this one is an easy recommendation. If you do, however, want something a little bit more classic, another great option right now is Duke Nukem 3D 20th Anniversary World Tour. That's on sale for a couple of bucks, also well worth it. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion is 50% off and matching its lowest price. I'll link my review down below, but this one is a gem. I think they did a fantastic job of modernizing this action RPG while kind of staying true to that original. Now I will admit here though, however, it still shows its age in some ways, mainly the linear environments, but the combat, the story, the visuals on the Switch, all winners. Now you play as S.T.A.L.K.E.R, a soldier operative investigating a series of disappearances within Shinra's ranks. His journey connects directly to Final Fantasy VII, so yeah, if you're a fan of that game, absolute must play. But the combat extremely fast. As I said, it's action focused. I think real-time actions with almost this slot machine style digital mind wave system. It basically triggers special attacks and stats boosts. It's a really kind of interesting concept actually. And then the visuals, as I said, fully remastered. The character models have been upgraded, and even the soundtrack, it was reworked by the original composer. Yeah, this one, even if it's the first time playing or maybe even revisiting, I think it's great for both audiences. Little Kitty Big City is 35% off and a new low price, and I really enjoyed this one. It gave me kind of Stray vibes, but with a Pixar-like charm, and Let's face it, that's probably because of the lead character, but it's a fun little adventure that impressed me. But I will say here, actually, like the biggest drawback for some is going to be the price versus playtime. You can roll credits in around 3 hours. If you're a completionist, I'd say you can probably double that time, but it's still not a huge amount of gameplay. Now, overall, you play as a mischievous cat trying to find its way home, but there's no rush. The game is encouraging exploration in this little open world city. You'll basically meet animal friends, complete quests, and yeah, I guess get into trouble at times. It's kind of got playful freedom written into it, and yeah, I think it's good fun. I definitely think it's worth a look. There's some customized options as well. It wasn't for me personally, different hats, for example. But yeah, short and sweet, and if you love the theme, I think it's worth a look. No Man's Sky is 60% off, matching its lowest price, and this is the game that just keeps on giving. The sheer amount of updates since the launch has been staggering, and somehow the Switch version pulls it off. It looks solid, it runs well, and it still delivers that endless sense of exploration. Now, there is a story, should you want to follow it, but the real highlight here is just kind of forging your own path. Now, personally as well, this is actually high on my list for a Switch 2 performance and visual patch, if that is something that does happen. Speaking of that topic, I've actually got a video on that one coming tomorrow. But every star in No Man's Sky, it can be explored. It represents a distant sun, each with planets to explore, alien species to discover, and resources to gather. You can fly between planets freely, battle hostile creatures, trade with NPCs, or simply explore the unknown. It's just this freedom that No Man's Sky is just so successful at. Dragon Quest Monsters, the Dark Prince, is a gem, though it launched with some rough performance issues, there's no question about it, and even though it's not perfect, it's simply just plain fun, and sometimes that's all that matters. It is now then 25% off, matching its lowest price. I think it's a great time to jump in, and it follows Sorrow, who's been cursed and can't harm anything with monster blood, so instead, he takes on the role of a monster wrangler, building an army to fight on his behalf. His journey takes him through this ever-shifting world, from lava rivers to ancient ruins, even sky-high towers made of cake. It gets absolutely wild. And along the way then, he's joined by friendly NPCs who will help you hunt for those stronger monsters out there. At the heart of the game though is then the synthesis system. It lets you combine two monsters to create a stronger offspring. Breeding and experimenting with these different combinations is incredibly addictive, and with over 500 monsters to discover and fuse, there's tons for you to uncover. You're going to be stuck in this game for a long time. But yeah, I think it kind of thrives, this one, on classic Dragon Quest charm. And again, the Switch version has some rough edges still, but it's still well worth it. Scarlet Symphony is 50% off and new at low price, and if you're after a Castlevania style experience, this is well worth checking out. Now, full transparency, it's short, only a couple of hours long, which was a common complaint in my review, which is linked below. But if you're after an old school experience with tight gameplay and really stunning gothic aesthetic, I think it delivers. Now, the game follows Reimu as she investigates the return of the Scarlet Mist. This leads her to the Scarlet Devil Mansion to uncover its cause. Now, this enhanced version of the original brings HD visuals, bonus features, and full Japanese voice acting. It's definitely the definitive way to experience it. Now, gameplay-wise, then, it's kind of classic action platforming, featuring, combat, magic-based abilities, and boss encounters. It does have its moments where it's definitely tough, but I think overall, stages are beautifully designed, tons of enemies, hazards to watch out for, soundtrack is incredible, and yeah, if you can look past the short runtime, it's great fun from start to finish. Kaze and the Wild Masks is a steal at 90% off and new at low price, and platformer fans, do not let this one slip past you. It's a beautiful throwback to 90s classics with tight controls, really stunning pixel art, and some seriously fun mechanics. What really stands out is the title Wild Masks system. They grant new abilities, keeping the platforming, fresh. You play as Kaze and journeying through the Crystal Islands to save your friend Hugo from a curse that has brought chaos to the land. Along the way, you'll take on hordes of enemies, including things like angry vegetables. Yeah, it's all about really using those powers. It kind of transforms the gameplay from pouncing like a tiger to soaring like an eagle. Expect then it to feature over 30 levels, 50 bonus levels for those looking to dig even deeper. And the difficulty is a really nice balance here. I think it starts, well, I won't say easy, but relatively fair. But yeah, it's always challenging but fair. And I think that's the most important thing about an experience like this. Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter launches with a 20% discount. I actually reviewed this on the channel this week. Check out the video below. It's a gem of a game, and if you haven't played the first, there's actually a double pack too. It's maybe a couple of bucks more. But yeah, this is a side-scrolling action RPG with Souls-like combat, and while it is easier than the original, I loved the new cast and the monster hunting system. Now you play as Arlo, heir to the Warden of the Wastes, on a mission to unite clans and fend off a growing darkness from the north. The world though is stunning, there's tons of locations, the combat is brutal, you will still need well-timed dodges, parries, executions, but the weapons, the armor systems, all that good stuff, there's tons packed into the experience, and I definitely think it's worth a look. The Thing Remastered gets its first ever sale at 20% off, and this is a classic third-person horror experience. Now, no doubt parts of it show their age, your squad mates, for example, getting taken over. It's a little predictable, but I still had a blast, and I loved it back in the day. Even when the game leans more into the action in the later chapters as well, it keeps that kind of tension, and the remaster itself is a huge visual upgrade. Now, I played this actually on both Switch and PlayStation. Never actually got a Switch video out, something I still need to do, but I will link my PlayStation Corner video down below if you do want to check that out. Now, the game, it's a follow-up to the 1982 film, putting you in the boots of Captain J.F. Blake, leading a Special Forces rescue team investigating the aftermath of Outpost 31. The big hook is the paranoia system. Your squad mates can become infected at any time, and their trust in you changes how they react. It's this great mix of survival horror, squad-based combat. There's a variety of weapons, think flamethrowers, machine guns. It's always pretty intense stuff, which is what I really appreciate, and it really actually takes you to a lot of different locations. Then this new version improves models, textures, and lighting, while adding quality of life tweaks. So yeah, it's definitely, in my opinion now, the best way to experience this cult classic. Star Ocean, the second story R, is 40% off and new at a low price, and one of the best RPGs on the Switch in my opinion. Now surprisingly, I didn't feel it got the attention it deserved, but if you love classic JRPGs, this is one to check out. It has that Octopath Traveler visual style, but personally I think it takes it up a notch with some stunning environments that feel, I don't know, bigger, I guess. The story though follows Claude, a Federation officer who finds himself transported to a mysterious planet. While searching for a way home, he encounters Rena, a young girl who believes he's the hero from an ancient prophecy. So basically the game lets you choose between these two different characters, and dependent on your choice, you'll see the story unfold from a different perspective and recruit different allies. Combat is great fun with real-time action mechanics, and the new break and assault action systems let you stack damage for these devastating results. Then there's going to be the progression system with skills like cooking, crafting, and even metalwork. And yeah, it's really all about letting you customize your playstyle. Add in then the stunning art, full Japanese and English voice acting, and a fully rearranged soundtrack. And yeah, again, a great way to experience a classic. The winners of the week then for the two $10 eShop gift cards are on screen right now. Congrats on the win. Email me for the code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance in next Saturday's video. Yakuza Kiwami is 25% off, matching the low price, and this series is one of my all-time favourites. It's fantastic to finally see it on the Switch, and overall I think it's a solid port. Now sure, there are moments where it pushes the hardware and the frame rate wobbles a little, and visually you're going to see the impact of course, but generally I think it runs well and it's a great way now to play. Everything that makes this series so special as well is here: the story, the combat, the ridiculously fun side activities. Now, story-wise, you're stepping into the shoes of Kiryu, a loyal Yakuza who takes the fall for a murder and spends a decade in prison, only to return to a world he no longer recognizes. The game, though, is packed with brawls. The Kiwami edition revamps the combat by adding different fighting styles that were introduced in Yakuza 0, and then you can switch between these styles on the fly. There's like Rush, Beast, Brawler, even the iconic Dragon style, and it feels fantastic to have that option. Then this game as well, I've got to say, it's not really about the combat, it's the story, the world, the activities. Think karaoke, arcades, cabaret clubs, gambling dens, it's just all here. There's so much to keep you busy. You could easily spend like 10 hours in this game and not even touch that main storyline, and I think that is just incredibly impressive. S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Legends of the Zone Trilogy is our final game of the video, and it's getting its first ever sale at 20% off. Now these are classic atmospheric shooters with deep survival mechanics, and honestly, the ports here, fantastic. I'd love to see the latest S.T.A.L.K.E.R. title come to the Switch too, but for now, it's a fantastic way to introduce yourself to the series. Now, I will admit here, I want to put it out there, these games won't be for everyone. The brutal challenge and hardcore kind of survival elements can be punishing, but if you do commit, the payoff is worth it. Now, if you're unsure about grabbing the full bundle, then each game is on sale individually as well, but of course it will in the long run cost you a hell of a lot more. Now, the trilogy then starts with Shadow at Chernobyl, where you step into the zone, a radiation-filled wasteland surrounding the Chernobyl nuclear disaster. Think deadly mutants, scavengers, supernatural anomalies. From there, Clear Sky serves as a prequel, just deepens kind of the lore, I guess. And then finally, the third entry wraps things up as a refined and expanded, I guess, finale. You know, for me, these aren't just shooters, these are survival experiences. Every bullet counts. All of the anomalies can end you in seconds, and the desolate world is as much an enemy as the creatures within it. If you want a tense atmospheric adventure with tough gunfights, branching narratives, and an Eastern European setting, unlike pretty much anything else on the system, this is one to check out. And that is the video down. Will you be checking anything out this week? Let me know in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, then do me a favor, subscribe. It helps out the channel a huge amount. Yeah, see you all on the next one. Cheers all.